Now we are. What's up, potheads and political junkies? You're watching Cannabis Culture News Live. There's Alyssa in the background, Boss Alyssa. We're here at the Dab Bar at Cannabis Culture headquarters at 307 West Hastings. I'm on both YouTube over here, that's YouTube, and that is Facebook. I got my two iPads rolling, and so we are able to broadcast to everybody, not just one, because I know that people at YouTube have been getting a little upset because they haven't been on all the live gigs, so we're trying to work out new ways to do that for you, because we lost our Microsoft Surface in the last raid we had here in Vancouver. Hi guys. Oh, I can see the chat through. It is different. We're at the Dab Bar here. Let's check it out. I'm going to show it off one at a time here. We're at Cannabis Culture at the Dab Bar, and look who's over here. It's Mr. Cookie. How are you, Mr. Cookie?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good. Hold on a sec. That was YouTube showing YouTube off, and Facebook's like, what?
What are they getting to see that we ain't?
Here we go. What's up, guys? Here at the Dab Bar. And there's Boss Alyssa. And there's Mr. Cookie. There you go.
Here.
Over there. So, and Carly Marley is coming soon with a handful of dabs for us so that we can get nice and high at the Dab Bar. We have it set up here, so there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electric nails here at the Dab Bar. Up to 10 can be set up in our beautiful custom-made bar. This is at 307 West Hastings.
Say it's mahogany.
Mahogany. It's good stuff. Same thing one of my guitars is made of. Good wood. Resonates nicely. Yeah. So yeah, 307 West Hastings here in the city of Vancouver. We have a lot of people watching. 483 people tuned in right now.
Holy crap!
On Facebook, so check out the Dab Bar. Yeah, we hit here and we sit here and hit dabs all day. That's really, what people do. And you can too, because you can come down here and, here, we'll show off YouTube again. You can come down here and you can buy the dabs here, do them at the bar. You can buy joints and other kinds of single stuff. At this particular location, we don't have a full-fledged dispensary. It's mostly just singles. But you can also bring your own dabs, and you can bring your own weed and smoke it in here as well. We have volcanoes at every table. A lot of fun stuff. And today on the show, something fun happened, or something good happened, I guess positive. In a way, it's positive. Dana Larsen, activist extraordinaire here from the city of Vancouver, had his seed case in Alberta thrown out. So Dana's actually here right now, just stepped into the lounge. We're going to talk to him about everything going on with his case and how it went, and we're going to get high as well. Shouts out to Nova Scotia. Brandon, I see there. Is this in Colorado? No, this is in Vancouver. We're in the city of Vancouver. Oh yeah, for our dabs?
No, for the iPad.
Wanted to
so they don't slide around.
So these things don't fall down? Yeah, because we have our iPads loaded up here. So we have like a dab mat that we're gonna
and the sublimator base.
And the sublimator base. Yes, this is our high quality, high action here. Let's see here. There's the Dab Bar, and there's Dana Larsen. Here, we'll set this up like so. Yep. And then you can see me. Hi, Dana. How are you? And there's YouTube. Yeah, we're on already. Here, hold on a sec. I think I can set this up in a different way. Mr. Dana Larsen's in the house.
Studio you got going here?
And we're broadcasting. Yes, broadcasting on both Facebook and YouTube. That's why we have two cams
Facebook
here.
And YouTube?
Yeah, that's right. As we usually do. No, not on Periscope.
Is that Periscoping from my phone?
Periscope's Twitter.
Oh, Periscope's Twitter's. Yes.
It's for all the Nazis.
What? For all the Nazis?
All the Nazis hang out on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, they do? Oh.
Well, the Russian Nazi bots. Whatever. Anyway.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's what we're going.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah. So, Dana, how are you? Seed case done with then. The big news.
Yeah, it's done with. It's a bit anticlimactic because I would have liked to have had some kind of great legal victory that overturns everything and liberates seeds, but the problem with that is even if we had done that, and we would have if they hadn't turned it down they hadn't dismissed it for the time delays, but because it's in a low court, even if we'd accomplished that, it wouldn't have set a precedent for anybody else. It would have been helpful, but it wouldn't have stopped anybody from being arrested for seeds.
Right.
And so the Crown would have to have appealed it and gone to a higher court and everything. And so it would have been, it wouldn't have happened. So it was the best result. I've already done the campaign again this year. Nobody bothered me in terms of police arresting anybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again next year. I really very much be surprised if any cops show up anywhere. I mean, I think, although we didn't get a real legal victory, it still, I think, showed that they don't really have the ability to deal with this kind of stuff, and nor should they.
Just a giant waste of resources, essentially.
The cops actually sprouted the seeds in the police station. It took them 9 months to get around to doing that. They didn't really realize maybe they have to do that to show they're viable, but I do have all the documents from the police about going into the room at 0800 hours. I turned on the lights, I examined the seedlings, I applied water to them. Every time we entered the grow room, they wrote it down, and I got all that stuff. So a lot of time and effort was spent. And I figure that's just a sign of the success of the Overgrow Canada campaign. We got cannabis growing all across the country, including inside the Calgary police station. So they were participating in the campaign and helping us grow cannabis everywhere. And I guarantee they were all talking about it. I mean, there's weed growing in the back room of the Calgary cop shop. I'm sure that was a common source of discussion and amusement for everybody. So, yeah, the cops are just helping us grow more cannabis. I think that's great.
It's kind of strange that they don't catch on that every time they arrest you or one of these activists for doing one of these things, they just get you more attention. They just get you, put on in the media and all over the place. So it's free promotion, basically.
Well, no. Goodness, that was a good joint.
Yeah. Mr. Cookie Roll, I think.
Yeah, it helped the campaign a lot, really. I mean, it helped me give away 1 million more seeds last year because of the arrest, and the whole thing was a bit weird. The police didn't really want to arrest me, but they did arrest someone else at my event for helping out. But I will say that the cops weren't, mean to me. They didn't do anything bad other than arresting me and showing up and all that. But otherwise, I was treated well and with respect and everything else. But still, yeah, it's a real shame and a real waste of time. And hopefully it stops from happening again to anybody else. But I'm still going to give away lots of seeds, and we'll just keep that going.
And it's still getting more press. There's mainstream articles out there about it. I
didn't even send out a press release. I was good. I didn't get around to it, but just my Facebook post. We got a story in the National Post today.
Yeah.
The Global News picked it up. A few other things picked it up. Well, it was a big story. I was trending on Facebook for a little bit of time.
Oh, you were?
It's the only time I've ever trended on Facebook before.
Shit.
Yeah, in 2016 when I was arrested.
There you go.
I was showing up there for a bit.
That's pretty cool. Did you screenshot it?
No, actually, I was in jail when that happened. Other people did send me things saying that I think I might have one somewhere. Some people told me I was trending. I didn't actually see it. We don't have Facebook in jail yet.
They did not yet.
Not yet.
I'm sure soon though.
Probably. They just charge you for it or something. I'm thinking about giving away poppy seeds too next year. Which is kind of a change of focus a little bit. But weirdly, poppy seeds are legal in Canada, whereas cannabis seeds aren't legal, although they pretty much might as well be in many ways. But there's been talk. The BC Centre for Disease Control was talking about people growing their own poppies as a safe source of opiates, and it's challenging to grow opium poppies just because you need a lot more poppies to make the amount of opium that an average person who's an opium user would go through. But I'm not a big opium user or anything myself, but I think it would be nice to have a safe source for people, and if they could grow their own and kind of develop that, I think that's a big solution. I thought about doing it last year. I decided not to do it, but you can actually buy opium poppy seeds very cheaply in Canada, $50 for a kilo. And in 2010 or so, I think there was a big poppy farm in BC. They make something called Doda, which is basically dried poppy that you make a tea out of it. Maybe some issues around drinking opium tea, but compared to using opiates in any other form, it's pretty much the safest way to do it. Yeah. And they shut down this giant farm. They said people were using, just drinking the tea. And I would love to know how many of those people that had been drinking the Doda tea, the opium tea, in 2010, are now on the street injecting opiates or have died from fentanyl overdoses because they weren't able to get the safer opioid tea that they had been drinking.
Right.
And so, to me, it's bigger than cannabis. It's about the whole war on drugs. And
safer alternatives. But again, it is an addictive substance, though.
Right.
Right. So, just like tobacco or just like alcohol or anything else out there, it doesn't necessarily, just because something is addictive doesn't mean it has inherent harms in the same same way that something like, opium, as you say, has the the pharmaceutical industry and those kinds of things, I think, are afraid of the natural alternatives to that as well. Being
there's problems around taking opiates. There's health issues and there's other issues around it. But I'll tell you that, when writing the history of cannabis in Canada, opiates comes up a lot in there too. And there was nobody dying from opiate overdose deaths before opium prohibition. In the 1800s and 1900s, when opium smoking was fairly common, there was no overdose deaths. Every decade after they banned opium in 1908, there's been more and more deaths. First, there were morphine-related deaths, people taking capsules, and the opioids have gotten stronger and stronger over the last 100 years. Every decade, more and more opioid deaths. And so, I don't know if I'm encouraging...
Why is it, do you think that
Prohibition makes drugs stronger. Prohibition naturally makes drugs stronger because it's more cost-effective and efficient to smuggle stronger versions of drugs.
Right.
So alcohol prohibition, nobody smuggled beer and wine. They all smuggled pure alcohol. Then you mix it in with sugar and fruity stuff afterwards. That's kind of where cocktails became a thing, right? Before that, people didn't really drink that kind of sort of fruity, diluted, strong alcohol kind of mix, right? That was out of prohibition. And so, if you can bring in the fentanyl and a little handful that's going to have the same punch as a much bigger pile of heroin and a much bigger pile of opium, and the penalties are all basically the same, then you're going to smuggle the stronger, more dangerous stuff because that's just more cost effective.
Right, and now this fentanyl stuff is the same. It's just even so concentrated. And
if opium was legal and alcohol was illegal, we'd be having an alcohol overdose crisis. Not saying people don't have problems with alcohol now, but people don't normally drink a bottle of beer and then die instantly because it was contaminated.
Right.
And that happened a lot during alcohol prohibition.
Right.
And so,
bathtub gin.
So it's, to me, I can't, you can't really grow. You need a bigger space to grow opium properly to supply people and that. But if I could get a safe source of opium, I would open an opioid dispensary. That's a fun thing to say 10 times. Open an opioid dispensary. But, maybe make it only for those who have a medical need or are already an opioid user or who have tracks or doctor's recommendation or whatever. But if you could supply, somebody says an echo there. Craig X says echo.
Echo?
I don't know what I just pointed out. But the idea that somebody's saying, what about addiction? And, we've already got people addicted to these things now. And you actually find that when they're legal and more readily available, people are less likely to become addicted and more likely to be able to help themselves get off addiction. So there's studies with opioid users in Switzerland where they supply them at cost heroin and opioids when they need it, and they find that a lot of them quit using because they don't have to have that short-term thinking. Where am I going to get my fix in the next 2 hours? I need $300 in 2 hours. Where am I going to get it?
Right.
And that leads to very short-term thinking. If you don't have to have that problem, then you can really change things. A lot of people start quit using. So, but.
Look at the dab bar.
Anyway, it's not really the thing right now, but I kind of feel in some ways that although we have a lot of work to do on cannabis prohibition, we're past the hard part now, right? We have a lot of work to do still, but I feel like it's mostly downhill. And in some ways, I want to focus more on the whole war on drugs and try to help deal with all of that. If you want to get free seeds, you go to overgrowcanada.com. The strain we're giving away is a low THC, high CBD strain we're calling Freedom Dream.
Freedom Dream.
And, I wish I could get millions of Kush or whatever seeds, right? I got a few 10,000s donated last year, but...
The big buckets that you had?
Well, the big buckets, those are all CBD seeds, a House of the Great Gardener gave me like a Ziploc bag full of seeds in 2016, but it's only tens of thousands, which goes really fast, right? But if people want to donate or grow out some seeds, you can make a lot of seeds yourself if you grow 2 plants or grow a bunch of females and 1 male. Make a bunch of seeds this year or next year and send them all to me, and I'll give them away. But we got the Freedom Dream, and I'm happy to distribute them, and I'm hoping to give away millions more next year, and to keep doing that as long as I have them to give away.
Well, at least you won't have to be fighting some court case while you're doing it all. So
that's great. Yeah, no more court case, and I don't think they're going to come back after me again. Really, if they'd wanted to get me, they could have arrested me the next day or the day after when I was in other cities doing the same thing. And if they'd done that, I could have, been violating my bail. It could have been quite serious.
Right.
When I went back to Calgary again this year, 2 cops did show up. if they'd arrested me there, it would have been quite serious because I was still on bail. But everyone there was like, if they arrest Dana, we're going to link arms around him and we're going to stop them from, I was like, okay, great, sounds good to me. But the cops just left and didn't really do anything, right? So I don't, maybe they'll show up again next year, but I don't think so.
How did the first arrest go down exactly? They just showed up. You were there handing the seeds out.
No, I was there. I do a talk, right? So we're in a hotel. We've rented a room in the basement of the hotel, a hall. I'm inside giving a talk to quite a crowded room. Cindy's outside in the hallway with a table.
Oh, Cindy, who's in the video
Cindy's
there,
right here.
And she's right there.
Yeah, so she was with me on the tour and doing all the work behind the scenes.
We need a book or something.
I was in the hall giving my talk. I heard some cops were there. I figured, well, I'm just going to keep talking. If the cops are here, maybe they'll learn something. Cindy was outside. She wasn't giving away seeds. They were on the table. They were envelopes. People were taking them.
We just need something heavy on there.
People were taking them off the table, and the cops were watching like a hawk, and I think they were waiting for her to give somebody some seeds so they could grab her, but they didn't actually see her giving them to anybody.
It's okay.
And then she ran out of seeds, so she told one volunteer who was there, a friend of ours, can you run to the truck and grab some more? And he went to do that, and then they grabbed him at the truck, and the truck had all of our other seeds in it, and a bunch of weed and other stuff, of course, right? So they grabbed him on our rental truck and arrested him, put him in a cop car. Then people told me, someone's been arrested outside. So I was like, what's going on? So I booted outside with a big crowd behind me, all these people, and we find the cop car and the guy in it. And I told the officer that you can't arrest someone else at my event for giving away seeds.
Right.
You got to arrest me if you're going to arrest anybody. He's like, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't really want to. And I'm like, well, all right. So I got someone to give me some seeds, and in front of the police, I gave out seeds to people all around me. Then I had 5 seeds left in my hand, and I said, look, I just gave away seeds. I got seeds here. You're going to have to arrest me. He said, okay, I'll arrest you then. And it was actually perfect because he walked me across the whole length of the parking lot
and they took
with
photos.
the seeds in my hand and all the media there. And they didn't put me in handcuffs or anything, but they... And so
there's
then
the famous photos of you walking with the seeds in your hand.
And everyone's yelling shame at the police and this kind of thing and being upset. And they put me in the cop car. The one officer takes the seeds, puts them in a little evidence bag. They drive me to one police station. Then just as we're pulling in, he pulls out. He says, oh, we're going to a different one. And they go another 20 minutes further away. It turns out they did that because Cindy was back at the rally saying, we're going to go down to that jail, we're that police house, we're going to get Dana out of there, we're going to free him. So they were worried there was going to be some kind of stoner rally riot out front of the police station, but obviously not. But they get me to the other one, they process me, put me in jail overnight. I'm in there with people who are much, one guy's wearing plastic bags for shoes. And other people are having problems and telling me their sad stories.
You had to stay there all night.
I was there overnight, and then in the morning, I talked to Kirk the night before. Then in the morning, I talked to Kirk. They had a video conference with the judge or the justice of the peace or whatever, and he put me on bail and $1,000, and he said you can't use or possess any illicit drugs. And then Kirk's like, but he runs a dispensary, and that's his job. And the dispensary's supposed to get a license, and you can't take away his livelihood. So the judge is like, okay, well, you can't have any illicit drugs except for at work. And that's how he wrote it. And since then, I've always been saying, well, what is that? I don't really work. I work at home. I don't really work in an office. I just kind of work all the time. So as far as I was concerned, I'm always working. Yeah. And that justified me always having this. But so I got out that morning. When I got out of jail, they gave me all my stuff back, including the evidence bag with the 5 seeds in it. The guy, they put that in my personal possessions, and so they just gave that back to me. We still got it wrapped up in a little evidence, in a little evidence bag there. But so the next day I went to Edmonton for the NDP convention and also to give away more seeds and other cities. It was a second stop on my tour, so I thought, oh man, I'm going to get arrested on every stop now. And if I get arrested more than once, it starts to become a lot more serious, right? So I thought, well, I'm kind of committed now, but I was pretty nervous for the next few stops. But then no other cops showed up, and some of them in the media would say, like, well, that's illegal, and we don't support that. But they can't, that's fine, but they didn't bother coming. And I did it all again this year, and it was all fine, no real problems. But I feel like it was Pamela McCall in Vancouver, our nemesis, or one of our nemesis from the anti-cannabis movement, Sam Canada, and Pamela McCall had called a few of the venues. We had to change our venue in Kamloops, or in Kelowna. I mean, we had to change the venue because we got they canceled on us because of that, and a few other places had issues or canceled because she was calling them. So, she caused a lot of trouble. But like you said, it's the Barbara Streisand effect, right? You try to ban something or prohibit people hearing about something, and it ends up just blowing it up into a huge thing. Okay, let's blow that up into a huge thing. What do you got there?
the dabs we have on a silver platter served up by Carly Marley over here. And it looks like, what do we have on the, what's on there, Carly Marley? Here, you can come in between us here, in between us. There you go. What do you got?
So we have the strawberry banana.
Oh, yummy.
Which is a hybrid. This is
DNA.
Oh, I'm gonna have to double check. I can't remember what that is.
HC?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
It was a sativa though. I'll double check with our
And what's that
stuff.
sugar wax on the end?
And this is Love Potion from Island Fire.
Oh, the Love Potion. Very nice.
Yeah. So these ones are regular price dabs. This one is one of the premium dabs that we have available. So these ones are both available for $5. These ones are available for $7.10.
Beautiful. $5 and $7.10. And we're gonna hit them. Dana's gonna hit one right now.
That's not even big enough for me.
Here, let's get a.
Barely even one dab, all of those together.
There's a dab rig.
I won't even feel it.
Hey, what are you doing? Here, hold
Just a little bit.
Hold on.
I only do like 5-gram dabs.
In a sec. Here,
Do
hold on.
5 or go home.
Well, we'll try to get you there. That looks like, you know.
Actually, I'll start with 0.05.
All right. Which one do you want to try, Dana?
The Love Potion.
The Love Potion. Okay. Oh, this stuff's like sugar waxy. And then Carly's going to show some of this off to the cam after.
Oh, that's
With a light?
That's really big.
That should, yeah, that'll do.
That's really big.
All right. Yeah, there's some light. Even. And there's a carb cap there. Yeah, and you're at a good temperature. He's at 635, which is a pretty nice temp. Not terrible. I like it around 635, 640.
The shit was lit.
That shit was lit. Bam. Hitting the dabs at the dab bar, 307 West Hastings in Vancouver. That's right. It's good for you. No physical pain, says someone I can't read in the chat. My eyes don't, the writing's too small. Nice.
All right.
You like that? Love Potion, Dana? Uh-oh.
Fall in love.
Fell in love with the Love Potion.
No.
Oh, yeah, other way. No, that doesn't go on top of
I
it.
want to put it that way.
This is Hawaiian cheese.
Hawaiian cheese. Oh, shit, I'm going to have to try that. AC. Okay, let's do that.
Smooth. Smooth. Oh, yeah.
Turns to
That's funny. Oh, nice. That worked. So here is, I'm going to show this off. Uh-oh. The Hawaiian cheese. Can you see it? I put my finger on it now. I'm sorry, I had to. It's going to fall down. There we go. That might be too bright, Mr. Cookie. Yeah, there we go. Oh, you can see it sparkling. It's nice stuff. It's here. There we go. So, and this it flew over here when it got slammed down. So that's the HC. I guess so. Uh-oh.
Well, watch that carb cap. It's gonna be sticky.
Here, let me turn you over here. I can. I'll just to shimmy the camera over a little bit here, so they can actually see it happen. Shimmy. There we go.
Shimmeroo.
Woo.
Ninja dab.
What's going on? Oh, they didn't do that to you.
Ooh-wee.
What happened?
Sorry about that.
That's a big dab.
Double dab.
Cool.
Ninja dab.
Double dab.
When someone sneaks up on you and dabs
That
you
was
double time.
wonderful.
Ooh, it's still going.
It's like a four-hitter.
Oh my god, I'm drooling.
Just puffing clouds in
Oh
here.
my God, bud.
Good job.
Oh my lord.
Sweet Siskaberry.
It is.
That was very nice.
Good.
Oh. That was like a 6 or 7 go.
You're a rough, sir.
Yeah, HC, I like it, the Hawaiian cheese. And you got ninja dab too.
What was the
Could have been
ninja
rock
dab?
What was the ninja dab? Oh,
White Russian.
White Russian Hawaiian cheese. Oh,
All
delicious.
over
Getting
the
in
map.
everywhere.
Oh, I know.
Sneak it in everywhere.
So Dana, what do you think of all these police officers now who have dispensaries? What do you make of that whole thing?
Well, on the one hand, Don't we want police officers turning in their badges and guns?
Sure.
Starting marijuana farms and like joining us? That's good.
Yes.
On the other hand, they're all a bunch of dicks for the most part.
Yeah.
Because along with that process, I think there needs to be an acknowledgement. Like LEAP officers, I totally respect, right?
Right.
You spent years and years doing stuff that I consider harmful, and you realize it, and you apologize, and you try to make it right. And that, I think, is great. A lot of cops get into this. They don't realize how bad the war on drugs is. They're young and they're naive and they want to do the right thing. And then hopefully they realize how harmful it is and they try to do something about it. I respect those cops. David Bratzer and others who are part of LEAP, I think, is very challenging and difficult. Fantino, who spent a career opposing cannabis, saying it's like legalizing murder.
Yeah.
All this terrible shit.
Bad things.
And then he gets into the cannabis industry right away without ever sort of making amends for anything. Like, I want to hear him say, yeah, we're starting a cannabis company and we're going to donate most of our profits to a fund to help make up for the harms of prohibition or something. Then I would be like, yeah, cool, you're joining us. But I don't like their attitude and the way they still continue to demonize the cannabis culture. And the idea is that they want to replace all of us because we're all bad, unethical, Hells Angels people, and they want to bring it in with a bunch of cops because you can trust cops to grow the good weed and be ethical. And that is a very bad attitude. And sure, there's bad players in the dispensary scene or in the cannabis scene like anywhere else, but for the vast majority of people in the cannabis industry are good folks who should be brought in to legalization and and get an apology as part of legalization. That's what pisses me off.
Yes. Well, very well said.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with you. But it's true. With the cops, I wouldn't have a problem with anybody getting into this industry at all if they weren't such assholes beforehand about it. And they don't seem to care at all that happened. They make no acknowledgement that the drug war had any harms in the first place. That's not even part of their thing. They're not even expunging records for people. That's not on the agenda yet for people who have been convicted of marijuana crimes beforehand. In fact, they're talking about ramping up enforcement, giving more money to cops.
They're going to be more.
Yeah, that's the problem with this prohibition, and I mean, with this legalization or with this it's a new prohibition that there's good things about it, and it's a big step forward in a lot of ways. But it's not acknowledging the harms of prohibition or that cannabis is a decent plant with a lot of positive uses.
Yeah.
It still won't even acknowledge that it's got medical uses formally in the government.
Right.
Health Canada still tells everybody, here's your medical marijuana, but it's not really medical. It's only the courts making us do this. Otherwise, we don't want to, and it's a bunch of crap.
No.
And then they're going to be charging taxes on medical cannabis, and they don't treat it like a prescription drug like anything else. They have a very hostile attitude towards it. All of this is wrong, and they really should be saying, let's legalize marijuana, and then let's also start working on everything else.
Right.
Jagmeet Singh's talking about decriminalizing other drugs, and that's a good start, but really, decriminalizing doesn't solve problems either, right? I mean, if you're only decriminalizing possession, but you still have to buy your shitty drugs from an underground place at high prices, and they might have fentanyl in it, then it's not really solving anything.
It has to be both, and that's what legalization was supposed to include, decriminalization. Every definition I've ever heard of legalization includes decrim. It wasn't until Canada went crazy that all of a sudden it was like decrim is some other thing that they're going to do separately.
Yeah, I mean, they have different meanings to different people, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, decrim should mean it's no longer criminal. Sometimes decrim means a ticket or a fine, which I oppose. Other times decrim just means you take it off of the books, which should happen for possession.
Right.
There's a lot of flaws in this, but at the same time, it's a big jumbled mess. But it's going to get straightened out over the next 5 years. Things are already moving forward, right? They said, you can only have 100 centimeters of plant. Now they got rid of that, right? I would not be surprised if Quebec ends up backing off of not allowing home growing and maybe putting in some kind of strict rule instead of forbidding it entirely. These are just their initial positions,
Right.
Nothing's passed yet. There's still plenty of opportunity to fight stuff and change stuff, and I think we will see changes. And for the most part, the changes we get will be positive ones, right? It's unlikely any province is going to allow home cultivation and then change their mind and ban it 2 years later. That just seems unlikely. So all the changes are going in our direction. It's not always as fast as we want to, right? It's all still very positive what's happening. We got to keep pushing.
There seems like there is a lot of positive, but again, it's this weird thing about, rather than just act like they have in Colorado and Washington and some of these other places, where you can really see the politicians, they're kind of taking a hands-off approach to it, allowing public enterprise to take part in it and all these things. In Canada here, they've really done this whole cannabis cultural appropriation thing, where it's like the government's going to be the only ones doing it. I mean, pretty much every province across the board has government monopolies already being installed for this stuff. Not all of them, obviously, but they're approaching that subject. Most of them want that. I wonder why it's so. Why do they think they can get away with it so much here and not in the States? I don't get it.
Well, there's problems in the States too. I mean, Colorado, I think a majority of districts in Colorado have forbidden any dispensaries from opening in their towns.
That's true.
It may not be a majority of the population, but area-wise, I think it's more of the rural ones that have done that, right? But
yes.
There's a lot of cities in California that are resisting legalization or licensing it in their towns.
That's
California has got legalization now. They're trying to put in huge taxes on it there. Washington also has a tightly controlled system where they even talked in Washington about eliminating all the medical marijuana growing and only having some sort of recreational end available. They didn't do that, but they talked about it quite a bit. So I think maybe you're overseeing it because we're a little separated from it there, so we don't always get all the details maybe of what's happening in the States.
Is true.
But I mean, and we're seeing, Richmond just passed a thing saying we're not going to allow marijuana here at all, even when it's legal, and we want it held back more, and so...
I think the difference, though, is that here it's a federal government initiative, so that means things are happening on a very large level, and that includes things about how it's going to be produced, and that is a federal regulated licensed producer system. So that's how it's kind of different, I think, is that there in the States they have the options of doing these different things. Like in Canada, we do that too. We have our municipal government here in Vancouver, and there's a different system in Victoria, and every town's making different ones. But I think it's that federal sort of, stranglehold on things if they really are pushing this LP system or something. But you were saying earlier, I think you came on a few weeks ago, and you were at the NDP convention, and I wanted to talk to you about that as well. But there was some talk of possibly licensing growers locally.
Yeah, I talked to quite a few MLAs about this, and John Horgan also I talked to at the NDP convention, and he's our new premier here, and he's very amenable to meeting people and talking and very friendly. He's always been very friendly to me, and he was saying, as many others were, that they want BC to be able to give out grow licenses, and they've been asking for this already.
Yeah.
I don't know why it hasn't really gotten any media. They haven't really put out a press release, but I said to him, like, is this something like I can talk about, or is this like a thing that you're still working? He said, no, this is our policy, and I talked about this with the other premiers, I've talked about it with the federal government. He's the only one asking for this, right? No other premier is asking for more power to give out grow licenses. But in BC, I hear craft cannabis, I hear protect our local industry from several of the MLAs, and they bring it up without me I don't have to pressure them. They just go, hey Dan, we're doing this, we want to have licensing. So that to me is a big step forward if they can get that, and I think we got to be pushing for that as a province. Support the NDP on this, and get the Greens behind it too. That we want the province to give out grow licenses. If that happens, if we can get that power, that's an opening for the province to then license many of the small-scale producers that are otherwise going to be left out. Yeah. Many of those who are currently supplying dispensaries. If we want dispensaries to be able to really be legitimized and become legalized and part of the system without having to carry tweed and Tilray weed, then the only way for that to happen in the long run, probably this gray area mishmash can go on for a few more years, but in the long run, we've got to come into some kind of licensing system. And if the province can license our current suppliers, or most of our current suppliers, to meet those standards, then we've got a pathway in, right? So that, I think, is what we should be pushing for. And it just makes sense to have it done at the provincial level anyway.
It does. And I think as part of it, we need to include something where maybe they don't have to have big facilities to create this stuff. They should have a system where anybody can grow the marijuana as long as it's tested and it's fine, then they should be able to sell it. So they should be able to get it from other sources, small batches, rather than just have these big, like, LP-style facilities.
I agree. I think there should be some zoning issues around growing cannabis, but ultimately it really shouldn't be about so much about how you're growing it, other than, like, safety and fires and stuff, right? But otherwise, it's about how you're growing. It's really about what the final product is. And there's multiple different ways the government could institute a testing program. They could do it all different kinds of ways that would be very effective. Anything from a blind testing process where they just go to places and test random products to enforce testing at the supplier end. But, I mean, I'm all for tested cannabis. We do that at our dispensary already. I'd love to see some kind of oversight there. But you don't have to have a hugely restrictive system where you need millions of dollars to get a permit. Right. You should be able to grow it, much more easily. And that, I think, is a big part of it. So we got to support the BC government on this, and push the federal Liberals to make it a provincial licensing option as well.
How was the convention?
Like the other day.
The convention was great.
Wasn't Justin Trudeau with John Horgan like just yesterday?
Was JT
Probably.
was with JH?
Yeah.
And JS.
They were.
JS?
I'm happy. I'm quite happy with the NDP these days. Actually, you know, we've had a lot of challenges in the party over the last decade in terms of cannabis and drug policy. And anyone who, I don't want to get into all my stuff, but I've certainly had a lot of issues. But Jagmeet Singh, there's still they can be doing more, but he has been the most progressive on drug policy, calling for full decriminalization. Him and several other MLAs, including Don Davies, MP, who also invited us to come and speak.
Yeah.
Me and Mark and others to come and speak at the federal committee on cannabis. Don Davies and Jagmeet Singh and others, they were down at the supervised injection site and at the overdose prevention site, which is not legal, the overdose prevention site. It's in another gray area, but it's not permitted.
Yeah.
That Sarah Blythe runs. And they were talking to her, and Jagmeet's he gave a speech at the BC NDP convention. He only talked for half an hour. And he made a point of spending at least 5 to 10 minutes of that talking about drug policy, decriminalizing, treating drug users as human beings, that the issues around drug use are not criminal problems, they're health issues. So that was very positive. John Horgan's very good as well.
Yeah.
I still think there's too much in the BC NDP of giving the cops money and saying we need to enforce stuff, because more enforcement, even against fentanyl and heroin, is not going to save a single life. Although I know there's a lot of pressure on them to put money to the cops for that. But at the same time, at least they've got a minister of addictions and health issues and drug issues, Judy Darcy. She's really good. They've been very supportive of harm reduction and of treating drug users with dignity and that. So there's a big opportunity for us here. And sadly, the fentanyl crisis is a huge opportunity to change drug policy. Yeah. Just like the AIDS crisis really resulted in huge changes in terms of how we treat and perceive gay people and the LGBT community, and that introduced changes that are still happening now. But that was partly because when your friends and family are dying, you become a lot more political and a lot more noisy and less likely to care about stigma and stuff that might have set you up before. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, when you're seeing people dying, it's harder just to make it a joke and to laugh at people. And certainly if you listen to the early days of AIDS and the Reagan press conferences where they're all just joking about it. Someone asks a question and they're like, well, you don't have it, do you, Bob? And they're all just making fun, right? In a way that would be absolutely not tolerable now, right?
Right.
And I think that it's unfortunate that you have to have thousands and thousands of people die before, or hundreds of thousands die before people will treat something seriously.
Yeah.
Because we've had an overdose crisis for decades, really. But I do think something good will come out of this in terms of that it's going to create a fundamental change, and that's what's happening already.
Yeah.
So the NDP convention was good in BC. John Horgan and Jagmeet Singh are both pushing the drug policy stuff, but we need to engage them, let them know you support them on this, that you're happy they're saying it. If they hear from you, they're much more likely to keep talking about it. And whether or not we form government federally, having a voice at the federal stage, having Jagmeet say this stuff is only going to be helpful to us in the long run.
Yeah. Well, awesome, Dana. I appreciate you coming down. You want another dab?
No, I'm good.
You good on the dabs?
Good on the dabs, I think.
Cool. Well,
I brought a half a joint with me, which I haven't even lit yet. There's so many joints going around, so I'll just smoke that after.
So that's very, man, a lot of stuff going on. Seems like every day just more cannabis in the news.
Hey, let me just do one more plug before I go. I don't have them with me, but I've got 2 new comic books out. I wrote the book, The History of Cannabis in Canada, the illustrated black and white book, which you can get on my website for just $10. But I'm getting it colorized as well. The talented Gary Wintle has been coloring all the pages, and so I'm releasing it as a series of comic books, which is just a few pages at a time. This is the first 15 pages of this 140-page book. So it's Volume 1, The Golden Age of Cannabis in Canada from 1690s until the 1800s. And it's only $4.20. It's at my website at potheadbooks.com. And it's a great Christmas gift for your friends. And you can also get my other book, my other comic, Harry Pothead and the Marijuana Stone, issue 2. It's going to be a 12-issue series. The second issue's out. It's all full color. Also available at potheadbooks.com. You can get all 3 comics and a bunch of stickers for like $15 or something, which is a great deal. And so check it out. Help keep me in the lead by buying my comic books. So there
you go. They are fantastic books. I love your books,
hopefully people enjoy them, and the history one especially. This one doesn't have any new content, but the next few issues, I'll be adding in a few extra pages of stuff to give you some added value.
So you'll be able to buy single serial issues.
Yeah, single comics. So this is still a comic book.
That's
It's only
awesome.
15. It's about 24 pages with everything in it. It's going to be a 10-issue series of those. It'll take about 2 years to get them all done.
Yeah.
And then when that's all finished in 2 years, I'm going to by then I should have sold hopefully all the black and white original editions. I'm going to re-release it as a color, hardcover, prestige, nicely bound. I'll charge people a couple of $100, and I'll just do like a limited edition one like that. But
very cool.
But this comic series, they're fun, they're easy to read, and they look beautiful. And so check them out. Potheadbooks.com.
I like the new website address, potheadbooks.com. That's
And greenbudsandhash.com.
Yeah, that's a great one as well. Dana Larsen. Yeah, you've been all these projects, Dana. You have tons of projects.
Oh, I got new secret projects I can't even tell you about.
Oh.
Wait till next year. I got a big project coming.
I'm excited.
Hopefully exciting, yeah, but I can't really talk about it right now.
Is there a new MJ product that's going to be out soon?
We got some new, I do MJ Creams as well, sure. Thanks for the opportunity to plug that.
Good.
So, MJ Creams is our topical creams and salves business. We're actually in quite a few dispensaries now and available by mail order at mjcreams.ca. And we have a new product, a sex lube. It's a little oil that you can apply to your delicate areas and let it soak in.
That how
It
sex
will
lube
enhance your orgasmic potential and sexual pleasure.
Lots of love.
So it's a fun one to sell at events. What's that for? Oh, well, you rub it on your... So, but we're not the first ones to bring in a product like this, but I think we got a really nice one, and it definitely we've been giving lots of field testing, and it's getting a good response. And of course, all of our creams are also available, and especially our pain cream is by far our #1 selling product, and we get great response to that as well.
Fantastic product.
Yeah, and I'm really happy. I started it a few years ago when I thought, now it's maybe a bit less revolutionary, but the idea was we're just going to sell these to everybody with or without a doctor's recommendation because you shouldn't need a prescription for creams, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's one of our ones. This is one of our salves. So this is beeswax, coconut oil, and then it's got comfrey and calendula and cannabis infused into it, the skin one, and you just...
It works so good for people that suffer.
Yeah, but the people on that screen, okay. A lot of people on that screen can't, okay.
Yeah.
But it's a nice product. We got a bunch of cool stuff. mjcreams.ca. Only in Canada, unfortunately. The books I'll send anywhere in the world, but the creams themselves are only within Canada.
Right.
And
they do because they do contain a
because
little bit of...
there's marijuana in here. I mean, it's not a lot, but by dose, you're not going to get high off it, right? Even if you ate the whole thing. But there's certainly enough to have a good effect. But that doesn't matter. Under the law, it's a forbidden product, right? So, but hopefully not for long. And actually, if you buy, I think, more than $100 of creams off our site, you get a free comic book. So synergy,
wow, there
synergy.
You go.
So you can get some free comics and some salves, and they're great gifts for your friends for Christmas. You get the little 5-pack of creams and salves and books, and you're ready to go.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks, Dana. Awesome. Lots of stuff going on always. Are you, there's no secrets that you can tell us about next, but what are you doing today? Where are you headed? What's your plan?
I got another interview at 5 o'clock, so in 5 minutes I'm doing a radio interview with Pace Radio.
Doing a lot of media.
And I've been writing a lot, actually. I'm working on a new book, a sort of a story about Sinbad the Strain Hunter.
Ah, you did tell me about
his magical adventures around the 7 seas, gathering different strains of cannabis and doing strange things. And they're funny little stories. I've got 7 of these done, 7 voyages and 1 kind of interlude, and hopefully I'll be able to publish it early next year sometime. And
I like you weedifying literature.
It's a fun little story. Yeah, I like doing the Sinbad stuff.
Yeah.
I do a lot of parodies, but Sinbad, people don't really know the Sinbad stories, right? They're more like, he's a guy in a boat in Arabia and he travels around and has adventures, but they don't really know his thing. So I quite like these stories. I'm looking forward to sharing them with people. I think they're funny and educational and stuff. I'm trying to finish the Harry Pothead sequel too, but I've been distracted by this other project of these stories. And I got a few new other story books coming out, but it's a lot of effort, especially the illustrated ones. It takes quite a bit of money to pay illustrators and make things happen and stuff. So I'm trying to build my publishing empire here, but I think people will enjoy the Sinbad the Strain Hunter stories because I'm enjoying writing them.
Well, very cool. Look for all of Dana's new stuff. Potheadbooks.com?
That's right. Potheadbooks.com, mjcreams.ca, and you can check out all my stuff.
Awesome.
And overgrowcanada.com if you want some seeds.
There you go. Dana Larsen, thank you.
All right, are we done? Okay,
Yeah, we're
because I
done.
got
Don't
my
miss your
call,
meeting.
so that's all good. Right on, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Dana.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
See you
Good
soon for
stuff. Right on.
sure. Enjoy the rest of your day. What's a joint update? Oh, we definitely do. Look who just walked into the dab bar area here, Mr. Opus.
Hey.
He doesn't have his bow tie on today, though.
Oh, it's casual
He's
Friday.
got the green bow tie.
It's casual
Yeah,
Friday.
casual Friday.
We need to get, what's his name, Cody Van Roley, to make him a joint bow tie.
Cody Van Roley, did you say?
Yeah,
I love
Cody,
it.
yeah,
Cody Van Go.
Cody
Yeah, but I like Cody Van
I
Roley.
call him Van Roley all the time.
Because he rolls amazing joints.
Yes.
So, Mr. Opus 420, what's happening? Our PR tech, this is the pre-roll man. All day long, he's cranking that machine with that music playing. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, Cindy.
Joint checking.
Are you hanging out, Cindy, or do you have to go? No, you're hanging? Yeah, Cindy's still hanging.
I got my back to Cindy. That's so rude. This way.
Here we go. There we go.
Yeah, what are we doing? What's new?
Oh,
that was
lost our...
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, I won't do that anymore.
Yeah, don't... Quit banging the table.
So what's new is we have some Thai tannic.
Oh, the Thai tannic.
Thai
T,
tannic.
Thai is in...
As in Thai weed.
As in Thai.
So that's a little play on
See
names.
there.
But,
You
I've
can't
just
see her
smoked
there.
a little bit of that. It's pretty enjoyable. It's a sativa.
Yeah, what are you looking for? The
We
Skittles?
also have
the Skittles.
blue goo.
Oh, the blue goo, too.
Blue goo,
Do you have
a
any...
hybrid.
Did you have any of this left over? Or did you already grind it all up?
It's kind of ground up. It's in the office.
We
I
could
didn't
show
bring
off...
any samples
You should
with
show
you.
some of the boxes off.
Next time.
You don't have any boxes?
Well, not on me. I have to go get them.
Well, after the interview, you should go and grab a box
I'll
and
go
then come
get
back.
them. I'll come back.
Yeah.
So what else do we got going on though? We got and something I'm really enjoying because I'm an indica kind of guy.
Yeah.
Is Grease Monkey OG.
Ah, the Grease Monkey OG.
Yeah, greased, as in greased up monkey.
Greased up
Like
monkey.
greased up death guy.
That's funny. And yeah, I tried some of it yesterday.
I've heard it's not.
It is. It's pretty strong.
It's very, very heady indica.
Well, it's a hybrid actually, but it feels like the headiest indica.
Oh yeah, and
It's a
it almost looks like kind of cushy a little bit, but
Yeah.
it doesn't smell like a kush or it smells like one, but it's strong. It is strong, so these will be coming soon.
It's some of that weed that knocks me out.
Cannabis culture locations, you'll be able to buy those joints.
Yep. And they're already. This guy sits and makes joints all day long that you can pick up at Cannabis Culture locations. That includes all of our Vancouver spots. I think for the most part has joints. I don't know if they're all made by this guy, but a lot of them are. And we have our vending machine at 1674 Davie Street, where you can get all of the different samples of all of the kinds of everything we have, all the boxes and the 1 gram baggies and the king size joints and everything.
I do those too.
This guy does a lot of that.
King size joints.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are fun. I like smoking one of those to myself.
But
Holy shit.
I've heard there's a shortage right now, a serious shortage on rollies. Like, so we have, here's a king size.
Yeah.
That's your king size. Bambi, Bambi.
Better stock that.
That's the Blue Dream.
Looks like one. No, I didn't roll that one though.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, did I? Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you
I
did. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to check closer.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And you can tell, like, because I'll show it off here.
like
Because
a secret fold.
he uses Futurola. We have a Futurola machine.
Secret twist. It's a secret twist in the end.
And these things are great, actually. So this is a king size joint. We have the 1 1/4, which are the small ones as well. But this is a king size joint, and it's got like a gram, basically almost 1.5 grams of pot in it. It's 1.3 or 1.4 in each joint. And we charge $12 even for them. That includes tax at the dispensary. You want me to spark it? I can't show it off without sparking it now, I guess.
That's right.
$12, but that's for 1.5 grams, with including tax.
So if you take it out and bong it.
Yeah.
Or vape it or whatever.
And it comes with this little tube that you can put other
Crush
joints
proof,
in.
you know,
That has
transport.
has a little lid.
Great for
Or
snowboarding.
save some of your king size joint for later if you so choose.
Yeah, you can put your king size joint back in the container and smoke it later, but then it's gonna taste like. Yeah, but the truth is, and I hate to be, you know, I don't want to rain on anybody's fun joint parade, but the problem with joints is after you bust them up, and I'm just being honest here, after a couple days it being rolled in a joint, they don't really taste that great anymore. So sadly, when you buy any kind of pre-roll joints at any dispensary, anywhere, if they've been rolled for more than a day or two, they probably don't taste that great. So we do have a fast turnover with joints at each of our locations. But sometimes the ones in the boxes, you might be losing some of the terps, just to be honest. But it's terp loss. It does gain a lot of convenience, and it doesn't seem to be hurting sales ever because.
These ones keep the air in there.
But to let people know, we don't use shake to roll joints ever at Cannabis Culture. We use really good pot. It's the same pot that we sell in our stores. It's really good stuff, and we smoke all the joints ourselves. We don't want to be smoking shit. So.
That's right. You gotta set an example.
This
right?
guy, I trust Opus's judgment, and
that's why I have this job.
Exactly.
Quality control.
Yeah, and I was looking at the bags yesterday. There's some really nice stuff. The Titanic is crazy.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm not a sativa guy, and it's nice. I like it.
Had you at the front of the boat type shit?
Mr. Cookie said, "Had you at the front of the boat."
That was a good one.
Love it.
All right.
Cookie looks a little like Leo over there.
I was like, oh,
yeah. So funny.
But I was sitting at my desk.
Opus.
And I thought I was at the front of the boat.
It's time for Opus's dab, I think. It's Opus dab time.
A dab for Opus?
A dab for Opus. Dun, 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 dun. All guests of the show receive a dab from the silver tray.
Oh, the dab off the show tray.
Show tray. It's a silver platter, as Carly Marley pointed out. We always, as a Cannabis Culture, we always dab off of silver platters. Everything's done like pimping around here.
I want a silver dabber.
Yes, gold.
Gold dabber.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you want? You want the strawberry banana? You want the Hawaiian cheese, which is damn fine, or the Love Potion sugar wax?
I'm gonna have to try that Hawaiian cheese.
The Hawaiian cheese for 100. Okay.
Speaking of 400, we got our game shows coming up soon.
I was gonna say
that's 420.
What do you think, Opus?
Yeah.
That'll do you?
That'll work.
Okay, you take that. We'll make sure we get it on cam here.
You take that.
Maybe back it up just a little bit.
3, 2, 1, dab.
There you go. 3, 2, 1, dab. Nice.
He went for it too, no resistance.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. I don't remember Patrick, so I'll get back to you on that. But like I think I'm gonna challenge you like my daughter
Not blue dream.
Yeah. Oh, that's delightful.
Hawaiian cheese.
Just delish.
Not bad. That's right. It is nice.
I'm a professional.
Yep. Who was the Hawaiian cheese by? Was that? I don't even know who it was by. You said before, I thought. Island Fire?
Island Fire for the Love Potion. That's the other
Oh, Island Fire for the Love Potion.
Oh. That was not, it was HC.
Yeah, that was HC. So, yeah, I mean, we were just gonna dab with you guys. Yeah, you go grab a pack of the joints. Carly Marley, you come up here. Time for Carly to take a dab, and then it's time for Boss Lissa to take a dab,
We should do a
and
strain
then it's time
review.
for Cookie to take a dab.
We should do a strain review real quick.
Strain review of which strain?
All of them.
Okay, do it up.
Okay.
You're going strawberry banana first?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to show the cam off to peeps, the lounge cam. First I'm going to do, hold on, just quickly. I'm going to do this camera. There's the dab bar, yeah. No, you're not on cam. Yeah, you're not. You don't worry.
I'll do the big dab though. Not too big though, because I'm going to say.
And we're just up here in the lounge.
I'll do a big one.
307 West Hastings in Vancouver.
I'll end with a big one.
And then I'll show these guys off here. Oh, unplug that for a sec. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. Oh, it's stuck there. Hilarious.
Hello, this is my face.
There you are. Right now. Just showing it off to Facebook. Yeah.
James.
Smoking joints at the dab bar. And Carly's dabbing.
Fucking ninja dab.
Oh, you went
Bam.
Fuck the whole
Oh, Carly's doing a dab. Nice.
I
Yeah.
love that. Try to. Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
you have to put it in the carb cap. Fuck girl. We're doing
Oh, premium joint.
premium roll.
Can I pass over to the peanut
Yeah,
butter?
get their opinion.
There you go.
Definitely.
Hey guys, this is the $12 joint. Cannabis culture, like the
We got those packets.
Oh yeah, we'll show those off in just a sec.
She doesn't even call for F all.
I don't think there's any shutter in there.
She's another professional.
Biggity
She
bam.
is. When I was her age, I had lungs like that too.
Putting this one down.
When I
Yeah.
was 20-something.
Can you pass me some ice away, please?
Ah, it's on top of the cords here. There we go.
That was a strawberry banana. That was super delicious.
Sorry, my arm's in the camera just for a second. Sorry about that, guys.
That's what I was thinking. Ready? 1, 2.
At the dab bar. And Jeff says he loves you.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so then, what's this? The cheese. Hawaiian cheddar, Hawaiian cheese is a little bit
Wine,
more
wine
shadowy.
cheddar, yeah. Yeah. Do it up.
Handy.
She's gonna do all three of them.
dabs in a row.
She's doing all three.
That's
Oh,
effed
sorry.
up.
She's passing the joint.
Blocked her.
Because it changes so bad.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
she's still choking.
Yeah.
A lot of those it's so innovative, right? That no one's really else is doing it.
People like it.
Yeah. Just to have it like the old days, right?
Nice.
Oh yeah.
This is the new.
Oh yeah. Beautiful. Very nice. Yeah, you should show. You should do that, Opus.
Oh, it's back again?
Back
I
again?
thought it was
This is
still
my
there.
ad that I did on the
Making a tour.
Oh my gosh.
on my Instagram.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I did see it. I saw it. Yeah.
So they don't shout.
I did see that. That you showed it.
Or it's just
So you did the two. Now you got to do love potion.
Yeah,
that would be my favorite.
What'd you
That
think of
was
that
She
one?
did strawberry banana.
the strawberry banana was very sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very tasty. It just kind of tasted like a general fruity flavor. The Hawaiian cheese was pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Very like fruity, tropical flavor, but it definitely had that cheesy undertone to it. Really nice. I really like that because it hits those like sativa uplifting terpenes, those really fruity terpenes, but it also has those like really get you fucked up cheese terpenes in it too. So
Yeah. The funky.
good. Now I
Love
think am I the
potion.
first person
The
to
love
try
potion
the
is no. I tried it.
You tried it?
It's like it's a very love potion-y, piney, sativa, high end, gets you buzzed.
Sugar wax.
Wow, that's gonna blow your mind.
That's a legitimate
Wow,
dab.
wow.
That is a legit dab. That's
Well,
like
if I'm gonna test them,
you do it.
Whatever.
She's gonna be sucking on that one. Give it 2 or 3 minutes of crazy bomberness. Uh-oh, there's a cord in the way here. No. Man, there you go. Oh, you gotta pull it back a bit. You're off cam a bit. Pull it back this way. Yeah, there you go.
I think just the chap's hiding it.
Oh, bam!
Explosion.
Bam!
There's a big chunk.
was there a big bump of smoke?
Major
No,
chunk.
no, you're good. You're good. Yeah. You're still going.
Oh, let it go.
Hammer that
Just
thing.
goes right for it. And then
Bam!
does like an Instagram toot.
That was a
Big
monster.
recovery. Good recovery.
Yeah. Very good recovery.
Take her home. Take her home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a monster. The love potion.
Big finish. Big finish.
Excellent.
That's so funny.
Dry for show, putt for dough.
I drooled a little bit.
Eat a little bit.
I said drool.
It all kind of happens at the same time.
Speak for yourself.
Cookie peed himself. Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah. Nice. That was pro styles.
I'm gonna stone now.
That was pretty damn good.
Hey, she blew it right at you.
This is a total pot star.
Which
Did
is
I
your
fuck up
favorite?
real bad?
No, you were great. You destroyed them all 3 of them.
Okay.
What was your?
Well, that last one was massive. Fucking
Yeah,
dab.
yeah, that thing was huge.
When I coughed,
It's still going.
Oh shit!
Carb cap.
Oh, yeah.
I just swab it out.
Yeah,
you gotta
probably.
waste it to taste
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
I don't even dab anymore. That's how much I wasted.
Yeah. Backseat
That-
dapper over
I just
there.
throw it in.
So, which is your favorite of the 3?
Smell of it, and I'm good.
I think in terms
Some of
of
the dabs are incredible. Like,
and how much I've got to, I'd say
I remember when Diamond won.
let's hit Love Potion, but I wasn't surprised by that. It's terrifying.
But that could have been because it was at the end of the 3, though. You know.
Seriously, they
It could have been, but I'm familiar
What was
with the
your-
strain.
in terms of
I'm familiar
flavor?
with the strain, and I know that this one,
like 2 weeks later, they won all the awards in Toronto.
it hits it really good.
You like the Love Potion?
The taste of the strawberry banana is really, I don't know, it depends on my mood. I feel like this would be like morning, evening, afternoon. Even though the Love Potion is a sativa, such a heavy hitter, the way they extract it.
I like hitting sativa at midnight. Bam.
Even if you're hitting a bunch of
Coffee and
dabs,
sativa at midnight.
Just
Yeah.
if you're strong dabs, even if they're sativa, you're gonna be able to cross it.
Yeah.
Karma Cup this year. We don't have
Nice. Bam. Okay, good work. So now, Opus, Carly, good work on the strain judging. Opus, you have to come over and show off the packs over here. Come on this side. You can squeeze in here.
So kids just
Scooch down.
Yeah.
I saved to see.
Yeah, because Boss Lissa's got to come and do a dab in a second too. But Opus is going to show off these
I
packs.
kept the stool
This is
warm.
Opus's products
Thank
here.
you, Carly. Awesome.
It's
There's a
okay.
couple packs where you can check out an indica and a sativa.
There you
I guess
go.
you gotta come over here.
Yeah.
And then of course it's so
Show off
nice
that one
because
too.
you can just do this, right? Have them in your top pocket, like you know.
Yep.
And then these are a set of hybrids. Here's the backside.
Is that too
Yeah.
shiny? Is that too sheeny for people?
To Martin Sheeney or Charlie Sheeney.
Depends.
And then of course,
Look at these joints.
The joints. So you get 7 joints in a box. That's 3.5 grams. That's an eighth. You know, that's not
Quarter
bad.
If you're from Ontario.
Yeah, or yes, there's no, and that's right. Half quarter. What the hell is half quarter? That's not a thing. That shouldn't, but it shouldn't be though.
Look, the chat's gonna blow up.
I know. Half quarter should never have been a thing.
Just got one.
It's called an eight. It's
called
like
an eight.
a half quarter. Like, show me in math where you use a thing called a half quarter.
but the best thing is, and I can tell you right now, is that 4 out of 5 potheads prefer cannabis culture joints.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely. So, hybrid, sativas, and the strains are written right on them. We label them as they come out of the factory.
Half quarters.
Yeah.
You know what's in them. Half quarters.
Yeah. Fun. Cool. Well, thanks, Opus.
I think if there's
Good
half
work on 'em.
quarters, maybe we could sell like 3.5 joints. I'll smoke a little each one and put it in your roast, right?
So before you see your mom and dad joints.
Alyssa made a really good point though. Usually it would be like, 10 for a gram, and then it would be 3 for 20, and then you get a Q. You would usually get like a half Q. A half Q is definitely like a thing. It depends on who's selling it.
Half
but
Q.
usually you're
In
gonna
separate,
go
you had the
3 for 20.
half cube.
Boss Lissa, you should come over here and do a dab. Yeah. And then we're probably going to wrap this up. Oh, Mr. Cookie should come and do a dab
Only
too.
down phone and
And
stuff.
what about
I don't know.
Ann? Ann, you want to do a dab? And Cindy too. Cindy hasn't done one yet either. Everybody's got to do a dab before we go. That's the whole point.
I only dabbed the salt.
Fruity and cheesy.
You guys
it's
know
like
that.
it's like taking a slice of apple and putting some green cheese on it. It's fruity and cheesy.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
You gotta. The Hawaiian cheese is nice.
Highly recommended.
You do yourself up.
Cheese icing on
It's
it
quite a lot.
and
Hawaiian cheese is that one, and it's very shattery, so be careful.
And,
Which one's not as shattery?
Oh, this one is, that's Love
Sugar
Potion, and
wax.
that one's Sugar Waxy, and that one's amazing.
Yeah, you like that one, Alyssa.
just take a chunk of each. tried
Jared, you should do that.
Do what?
El Salido.
Say that again?
Little chunk of each, all mixed in.
Oh, there you go. That's the way to do it.
And call that like flavor country.
Somewhere. There it is.
Flavor. I am in flavor country.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
That's really trippy. I have no idea where the cameras are.
I know. It's on the tops of
I
each
feel
one.
like a newscaster with the two screens that I can see both of them.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's kind of
Look at
funny.
her now. Oh, another rock star.
Double monitors.
It's two separate shows technically.
Yep.
Alyssa.
That are the same.
Oh,
It's true.
finish up big.
Bam.
Yeah, she just finished telling me she doesn't take big tabs.
I have the strength.
You got this. To the balls.
Bomb.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, how come we're not using the studio this week? Do we have a fire?
No.
Just fire weed, that's it.
No, we just decided to do some dab barring.
No tripping.
No, the studio's fine.
Yeah, we've got fire.
Yeah, we got fire.
So
Yeah.
change of scenery, you know? Like, here we are.
Fire weed.
Yeah. Nuggets of fire. Now you're a
Look where we
rapper.
are at the dab bar. We should write a song.
At the dab bar.
Don't forget.
Yep, that's the name of the show today. It's At the Dab Bar. So there you go. And so who's up next on the dab? Thanks, Boss Alyssa. How's the show production going today? Looking on the screens. Yeah. Uh-oh. What's this? I don't know. Verification required. Billing information. Billing information for what?
It's a ghost.
Whoa, that's weird.
Well, that's because you're at Hastings.
Oh, what is that about? It's acting
And I
nutty.
like the Wi-Fi.
It's just, that's really strange. It seems to still be working.
Billing information.
I'm not sure what that is.
Do you think it's the internet?
I don't know. No,
The
we
modern
seem,
type
I think we're on
ghost, yeah.
LTE.
The old school ghost, they just haunt.
It's,
That new
it's
school
very
ghost,
odd that it's telling us that, though. But it's still going. It's still,
Make sure your Wi-Fi switched off if that's what it's asking.
no, I don't
No,
think
it's just I was trying to think of something that would have billing.
it might be
iTunes.
iTunes. Yeah, but I don't have time to log in and deal with that now. That's strange.
So iTunes.
It's like you can't get your new season of Letterkenny.
Yeah. There we go.
You could have entered your password
There we
by
go.
now already.
We'll just leave it like that. That's fine. As long as these guys can still see us, we're fine.
They're like, yeah, there's a thing in the middle of the
Yeah. Awesome, Boss Alyssa. Thanks. Now, who's up next? Cindy was up next, weren't you? And too.
No, you go ahead.
All right, Cindy's first. How are you, Cindy?
See if I got it.
What's going on?
It's been busy.
Yeah,
Kind of slowed down now, though, so it's good.
that's nice.
Got a few projects on the go that come tell you about.
Oh, cool. Always.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
For sure.
And now, time to relax and have some dabs at the dab bar. What would you like? There's like strawberry banana flavor here. We have the Hawaiian cheese, and this is love potion. The love potion. The love potion's amazing. I'll show off. You can see that. Wait, let me show off the silver platter real quick here. That's that silver platter. Those are the three flavors we're choosing from. Yeah, this one is. This screen's showing things darker because that thing keeps coming up and won't go away, and it starts acting crazy. But that's the love potion.
Yeah, that's what everyone's been having.
Everybody likes the love potion.
Okay, well, maybe I'll
I
try this
guess
one
they
then.
love it.
I feel like I'm going to have to show it off on camera.
It has a way with people. Oh yeah, I can help you if you want
Okay,
me
you
to.
can
But
get
yeah,
me
you
down.
want it. It's kind of annoying. I had a problem with
If
it.
you just hold this one to it, too.
There we go. Look at that. Bam.
Maybe hold it hard.
That's gonna get you
I
going.
think, Jer.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, and here, Cindy, pull it back a bit so these guys can see a bit better. I just want them to be able to see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spin the head of it.
There you go.
It's like a kaleidoscope.
So that's the Hawaiian cheese she ended up going with in the end there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah, from
fancy.
the thing. Maybe take it off the laser's like too strong.
Bam.
Yo, I could literally just read it forever.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm gonna show this off again.
I don't look as good as Carly's, eh? I wonder why.
Well, yeah, you're hitting it pretty damn good. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Like you could probably go all the way down the street or whatever, like her.
Bam.
Three.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yep. How's that taste? What do you think?
Excellent. I really
Like
like
it?
cheese. Anything tastes good.
It is. And the Hawaiian cheese is a little different. It's got a bit of a spice to it or something. I like it. Awesome.
Thank you for the dab.
Of course. Always.
What are you up to?
Just doing the show, you know? Having fun.
Weekly. Like you're always so busy. So what have we been doing?
Oh, man. Well, we have a lot of stuff going on here at Cannabis Culture. We are, of course, running our stores that we have.
Like so bright.
Me, myself, I'm now the acting CEO of the company. So, yeah, whereas before, it is, and before I was the chief of operations for Cannabis Culture, which I still am, but now I'm kind of having to do, because there's no more CEO, because Jody wasn't allowed to be in charge of anything anymore. So, so I'm doing a lot of that stuff. So half of my time is spent either crunching numbers with Tia, or dealing with staffing issues, or working on the many projects that we do, and some of the new ones that we're pioneering. I'm including things like our vending machines and the joint rolling process and we're working on a really cool project right now. That is I can't wait to be able to launch it and tell everybody about it. I'm not saying anything about it at the moment, but it's so close to being ready to announce. And I'm hoping that it'll be before Christmas.
Good.
And I'm not talking about Opus's game show.
No. I watched that when you guys were there.
But that is hopefully happening before Christmas as well, so we should have an actual real Pot TV episode of Opus's game show before Christmas. But we've got something big going on here, and it's going to be exciting. Wow, that looks cool. Look at the glowing. Yeah, look at the glow.
There you go.
Glow.
Really?
That's hilarious.
That's very cool.
You want to try?
So weird.
Who else is that?
That's very cool. Yeah, Anne's not having a dab. You good?
I have to do
Okay. What's that?
I'm microdosing.
Oh, you're microdosing. Oh, okay, I got you. Macro dosing.
Yeah, macro dose.
That's what you need, you know?
Good macro dose.
Yo, look at this flashlight. Can you see it on both those cameras? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, here, wait. I'll take my pen here so you guys can see. It has UV function. But Mr. Cookie pointed out, look how crazy this is. It's like a kaleidoscope.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
yeah, that's good. So
That looks
fun.
cool. Well, can we get that closer? Okay, we're going to do it one at a time.
Light it up with this one. Just for lighting it up.
And then do that over here. Yeah. Gorgeous. And then now show them with the crazy wavy dealie.
Kaleidoscope. It's just like your own little laser show, you know? You get high, you have some smoke. It's like a laser show.
That's so cool. Hey, now show these guys. Very cool.
And if it's smoky enough, it's like your own little laser show.
Very cool.
It's true. The smokiness here is showing me how strong the laser is. And I was kind of like pointing it across the room. I don't know. No, you can't really see it that well on camera. But it's so smoky in here that you can
Just
see
shine it right.
the laser behave like crazy.
It looked cool in here. Like that. I like that. That looks pretty cool. Glowing bombs.
Yeah.
Had a couple of those, like different colors.
Same. They came with a t-shirt. A lot of
That's without
t-shirts
the
that
light.
all glow in the dark, and then you can like write on them or charge them up or whatever.
Very nice. So that's nice little penny. It's got little
Who made the penny?
flower of life on it.
Yeah, it's a K Hamilton.
So I'm really high now.
Do you want
So,
another dab?
I think we're gonna do one more dab or a couple more, and then roll this show over. We're done.
Did you do all of them?
Yeah.
Q-tip.
I haven't tried all of them. No, I have not tried the strawberry banana yet. I would like to try the banana.
When the show is over, just clean out the banger.
Yeah, exactly. Scrape the banger and just smoke that for 3 days. Carly's doing a little Q-tipping.
Housekeeping.
Which, anybody who has an electric nail, or any kind of nail, actually, not even really so much an electric one.
Corteza.
It's almost more important. It's definitely more important with cords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna get myself one.
Me too.
Take one.
I only dab non-solvent.
Oh, why?
You know me.
Like rosin?
Rosin, or some nice fine bubble hash.
Want this?
No.
Who's up, Jer?
The bong is purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Purple.
All right, I'm gonna hit this. Next here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for you.
I need some elbow grease.
Don't give me no elbow grease.
Put it on.
Where's the card cap? Oh, there it is.
Put it on. Yeah.
French, yeah. Still change.
Oh my lord.
They get an pizza in the end.
You're lucky. Oh, we're really blessed now.
Oh my. Delicious. Very nice. I like the strawberry banana.
Scrump diddly, you could
It
say.
did also have some of the.
Oh, when you added that afterwards? Oh, you doubled it up. That's what that was. I wasn't sure what you were putting in on top of it, if it was the Love Potion and the AC, but
Well, we'll have to try more.
wow, good combination, those two.
I thought they would be. Extra fruit to the fruit and cheese combo.
Yeah.
Alright. Do we have anything else to go over?
I'm so stoned, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
That's why I was trying to give you a cue.
I was like gapping out, listening to tunes.
Oh,
No,
you know what I was gonna say? All these delicious dabs here.
Yeah.
In case you missed us mentioning. For example, the Larsen from Island Fire.
yes.
There are over 60 selections of dabs available at the dab bar here at Cannabis Culture Lounge.
How many?
Over 60.
Yeah, sorry, I keep.
There's so many. They're gonna get a screen to automate it because there's just so many strains that they're constantly updating them. So really great place to come and try out.
We should
some
show off the
strains.
dab board after.
We should do a little walk around. I can grab one of the iPads. You can grab one of the iPads.
Yeah.
I'll do a dab. Let's go do that.
Okay, we'll just show off what's on the dab board, and then.
We should do a little walkthrough over there.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody wants to be on camera. That's it. Yeah. So.
Sign the Weaver.
We can
Yeah.
just show the floor.
Yeah, I think it's okay. And in fact, I don't even need it. The dab board is good enough to show off, and then that'll be the end of it. But yeah, guys, it was fun. Cool show from the dab bar here. Look at that. Oh, sorry, I keep putting my wrist in front of the camera. Slam that thing. Bam.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, it was a fun show today. Dane Larsen. So high, I forget.
Lots of dabs.
Yeah. Oh, Opus came on, Carly, Mr. Cookie. I have shoulders like an Olympic swimmer.
Cindy?
Cindy was on too, yeah. That's me.
You?
That's what they said. I have shoulders like an Olympic swimmer. I'm not sure what that means, but
It's a good thing. Gold medal, probably.
Yeah, I get. I don't swim much, but oh, thank you.
You see the elbows.
Yeah, I know my elbows. You like shoulders? What about my knees? Amazing.
That's it.
Yeah.
You look great from head to toe, Jay.
Aww. Thanks, Carly Marley.
You're welcome. Let's go show off how great this dab bar looks.
Okay, so you're gonna take yours, and
Okay.
I'll take this one. So we're gonna show you guys the dab menus. I'm gonna unplug that one, take it off of its stand. So here we go. Portable. CC logo. Yeah, there's
Hi. Oh yeah? You got all sorts of snacks.
I have it all pre-typed up
Trying to avoid
last time anyways. So it'll be
Yeah.
nice and fast.
And there's Jeremiah. And here is the dab.
So there's the $5 dab. And then we have the Primo 710 dab.
Are you doing a selfie or are you just...
No, I'm just showing off the board.
How are you... Oh.
You see?
Like that?
Yeah, I'm showing off the board.
That's so much harder than what I was doing.
You had the camera flip.
Yeah, you're crazy.
I know. You can flip the cam like this. No, it's not. It's on the back cam right now. I can't flip it on this one because it's got a little. There's like a thing that came up here.
Do you want to say hi, Nico?
Apple ID that won't go away. So there
We're
it is.
live here
The
as
big
well.
dab board. Yeah. The dab board. And it says, please no tobacco. So yeah, you can't roll spliffs in here.
And there's a bunch of this.
Joints in here, dabs, all the fun. So there you go, Pop TV. Wrapping that one up. There's Carly Marley. We got her. Ah, there we go. Look at that. All right, guys.
Okay.
It was fun.
A lot of fun. We're having a hard time staring at the same camera at the same time.
I know, it's funny. We're like looking back.
Okay, wait, let's coordinate.
I know, it's been
let's
like that the
go here.
whole show, actually, where my eyes have been darting back.
We need
and
one of
forth.
those red lights.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this camera and then we'll switch. Okay.
There's one.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We had a lot of fun. I'll see you next time. Tune into all the shows on Pod TV.
All
Finish
week
your
long.
show.
I don't know what to say. I love you, Pod TV. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next Friday, of course, and watch lots of other fun shows all week long on Pod TV, including this girl's show on Monday.
Yes, yes, yes. And with Bossless in the background. Bossless, she's on Saturday. Oh, that was a horrible double chin shot. Oh my god, that was the worst. Okay,
got her in this
so
shot.
that's good. You did much better than I did.
Yeah. Okay,
so
we'll talk to
Bossless
you.
on noon, high noon, Saturdays. Okay.
Love you, Pod TV.
Bye, Pod TV.
Drug peace.
See ya.
This one's still going.
Did I just hit X?
Yeah. No, you gotta go. Oh, I don't know. That's fun.
Listen, this is why we call her Boss Lissa. Okay, bye, you too. Oh, that's how.